Hi everyone. So because some of you missed class and it was an important class to really go over how to approach the discussion, I wanted to make this video so that folks could go back and watch it and really kind of know how to approach their discussion section. So as you can see, if you go into our course shell and go into this discussions, you have the discussion section document. So if you open this up, click here, open. This will, in a sense, kind of help you, give you some advice in how to approach this section. It's not opening on my computer. There it is. So if you see this document, this will kind of help you approach and give you some advice on how to approach the discussion section. So let me close that up there for a second. We'll go back to the PowerPoint. So here's some of the kind of main points in that document. So you can read that on your own time, but here are some of the main points. So you need to go ahead and connect kind of what your themes are to why that matters. And that happens in the discussion section. So in that second point, present the underlying meaning of your research, note possible implications. That's what you're doing. So in class, we talked about Asia's research. She found 3 themes. Even though this wasn't a theme, one of the implications that she had was that folks feel lonely. So she might recommend a program so folks don't necessarily feel lonely. Another thing too is highlight the importance of your study and how it might contribute to fill the gaps in the field. So you want to connect prior research in the discussion section and address this has been seen in prior research, this hasn't. And then you want to engage your reader in the discussion section to get them to think critically about the themes that you found and how, in a sense, we might be able to improve the lives of others by knowing this information. So some general rules: be concise. You don't avoid using jargon. So if you can use a simple word, use a simple word over kind of a complex word. And then be kind of mindful of what tense you use. If you're going to stay in past tense, that's fine, or future tense. Just kind of stay in there. So again, in the discussion section, you're going to go ahead and explain your results. So in the results section, you kind of present your themes, what you found, and then evidence for those themes. In the discussion section, the fourth section, you're going to explain these results, okay? Then what you're going to do is connect that to previous research. Again, has this been seen before? Has this not been seen before? And then, in a sense, can you, in a sense, make claims that can be, like, made more broad? So, in a sense, focusing on students' loneliness. That might be a broad theme that you might want to focus on. So, in many ways, I think that your discussion section should have, in a sense, these 5 things in it, okay? So you're going to go ahead and reiterate the research problem and kind of state the major findings that answer that research problem, okay? And these can all be their own headers. Then you're going to explain the meanings of the finding and why they're important. Then you'll relate it to previous research in terms of the findings to similar studies. Consider alternative explanations to the findings. So going deeper, you want to acknowledge the study's limitations and then possibly make recommendations for future research. So you can make each of these its own heading if you were to prefer. So let's, in a sense, kind of look at some studies. So in our Blackboard site, if you go into the discussion, I posted 2 studies that you can, in a sense, use that really kind of showcase this. So the first one I want to talk to you all about is, let me pull it up here. Let's pull up the Promoting Low-Income Students article. And I'm gonna make sure I can just download that here. So if you go on to page 19, this is where they discuss what they are calling the discussion implications section. So they give kind of a nice summary and present their 3 themes again. So you can read this if you want to follow this article as an example. See how they are kind of presenting kind of those 3 themes. So here we can see that they're connecting some previous research to these themes in that section. Then in their key findings section, notice how they, in a sense, kind of talk about themes again and really kind of hammer home why these are key findings. Then they go into the limitations of the study and really discuss the limitations, and then recommendations for future research. Check this out. So their population is school counselors. So they're saying this is how school counselors can use this research. So if you look at that piece of the article, you can kind of see how that plays out. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and in a sense what they do is they present the 3 themes and they bring meaning to this. And key findings, again, they present what they think is kind of critical for you to kind of know. They present the limitations of the studies and recommendations for future research. I think I might have missed something because I think they had implications for school counselors too. So if you want to use those as headings and you fill in your discussion section with those headings, that might be great. The other article I posted, it's a shortened abbreviation, is the qualitative impact. And let's go ahead and pull that article up here. So if we go into discussion and then go to articles to help, and then we'll pull up the qualitative impact. So let's go to where the discussion starts. So the discussion for this article starts on page 21. So as you can see, here's kind of their main headers, the results in connection to previous research. So again, they will present their themes and then right away connect it to the previous research. Then what they go ahead and do is they have implications for the field of school counseling. So if you are doing your study on disabilities, you could say implications to the field of disability studies or those that work with this population. So you could do that. Then they have strengths of the studies, which I think is kind of an interesting kind of take. That's another thing that they have. Limitations of the study. And then, in a sense, they have potential areas for future research. So those are their headings that they fill in that. So you can kind of see an example in this article. Why I like both of these articles is because in this journal, they publish them having folks leave their manuscripts in APA style. So you can go through these and see how they're formatting everything in APA style and use that as you kind of approach this assignment. So what you need to do, this is just a short video, is go ahead and pull up the sheet that I post in the discussion. Look at these overall objectives. These could be headers. If you want to use these as your headers, go for it. If you like the headers in the other 2 articles, or you want to do a little hybrid of both, that's great. And then read these articles to really showcase how they're approaching the discussion section. So feel free to ask each other questions and make sure that you're getting help from each other. And I hope that this video helped and that the resources I post kind of help you approach the discussion section.